May the God known to each of us provide the strength and wisdom to perform the duties and fulfill the responsibilities required by our oaths of office. May our actions be pleasing to God and meet the expectations of the citizens we serve. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Somebody clearly ran the city. Somebody clearly changed. I didn't even pay attention. Usually I come in early and change it if they change it up, but we'll correct that. We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Thanks everybody for being here. Council members, you have minutes from August 5th, 2025. What's your pleasure? We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We don't have anyone signed in to speak tonight. Before we go into departmental updates, I did want to tell the council there's a couple of things that I've gotten phone calls about over the last few weeks, and one of those being the deer issue. They're all over town. First of all, we are not equipped to deal with the deer problem. And secondly, as you all know, our insurance company has asked us to cease our urban hunt in the park due to the development in the park and the number of patrons that we have going to the park now. That would not be good for our insurance coverage, nor would they would not cover us because of that for an urban hunt. So having said that, the same thing that I would tell anyone, there are deer attractants, and quite frankly, we back up to Martha Road. And also tell your neighbors not to feed the deer. There are, yes, and I've already instructed Brandy to do that, put the newsletter, and we'll put it online at the same time. Yeah, we'll figure something out to do communication, but at the same time, we're also not equipped to handle complaints of your neighbors feeding the deer. It's just not what we do as a sit-in. People should be smart enough to not do that because it is invasive, but the DNR doesn't offer much help. There's another agency that Andre, we had been reached out to about the geese problem, which the geese problem hasn't been eradicated, but the guys in the park have been very diligent in keeping these cleaned up out there. But we also have to remember all of that property and all that space was occupied by animals way before we were here as well. So it stinks. I have the same problem at some place I live, and they lay in the yard where I lived up on Hickory Drive before. I think part of the problem is that they've become too domesticated because of people treating them the way they treat them. So that's where we are with the deer population. The other thing that you guys know, there was a tragedy that we spoke about briefly the last time and lent our thoughts to the folks up in Milton. And just to let the public and our folks know, and for the record, our folks handle safety protocols according to those governing guidelines, although we're not required to. We have trench boxes, we have quarterly safety meetings. Our guys have gone to confined space trainings. We have people who are trained to take care of those type of issues for the city. So when I tell you that when I'm talking about Danny and Jason and our leadership team, they don't put our folks in jeopardy. And I know that was a freak accident. I'm not saying that anyone was put in jeopardy on purpose, but I can tell you without hesitation that the people that work for us always have the mind of the safety of our employees in the front of their mind. So know that they meet regularly with safety meetings, know that they're taking those precautions when they're out on the job site, and that more times than not, Danny, Jason, even myself are out on those job sites just taking a look around, just to be present, so that we don't have those problems. And certainly don't wish that on anyone, but it does happen. When it does, we respond appropriately. But our folks do take care of those safety protocols that have been a concern here in the last few weeks. The other thing that I'll say for benefit of council, we will have a work session at the next meeting about an hour before. Chris Blandon and his crew have had a few really heavy days of labor and deliveries with respect to the sanitary sewer project, and it's been really oppressive heat. So I just told him to forego this evening, and we'll have him make his presentation on the progress of the sewer project at our work session before our next meeting. We'll also cover some of the items, including the rec center discussion that we've talked about in the past, and then one of the other items is on the agenda tonight for discussion with respect to the storage and maintenance building for the sports complex. So that's all I have. I will say that in your packets you have a summary of a piece of equipment that Jason and Danny and the leadership team have talked about. Danny, if you want to cover that just a little bit, that's going to be an upcoming item for purchase for you guys, but maybe talk about the use and what the thought process is behind that piece of equipment. I appreciate it.
Yes, we have all this information is in your packet. We have a 1987 Case forklift, and we would like to replace it with a Skytrack that lifts the same capacity, but it lifts higher, and it has an extendable arm that would facilitate us loading on a flatbed and that sort of thing. So it would serve the same purpose, but it's a newer machine and has more capabilities of what we need to do. And also there's several attachments that's available for it.
What cost are we looking at?
There's a cost comparison there on the back. To replace the same type of one we have is $115,000 to $125,000. And the one we're looking at that we want is $99,850 to $109,350.
That 109,350 is extra attachments?
No, it's just the machine
Oh, okay.
without the.
Okay, so having said that, we will have that on a subsequent agenda for action to replace that piece of equipment. Danny, please pass along to Jason as well. Thank you guys for giving the council a summary about what the need is, and we'll have that on our agenda after we have the quote for bids. Having said that, you guys have the departmental updates in front of you. The chief is at a conference this afternoon in Kingwood, Police Chiefs Association. We'll move right into old business. Consideration approval award bid for the Barboursville Youth Football Equipment Storage Building Project. Since the last time that we chatted, I'll just say this, there's no other bids to be had, and I'll tell you that Danny and the crew have gone to great lengths to figure out what the cost of this building might be. This building actually has come in a little lower than what some of even the initial quotes that we got. So the question here is, they're gonna spend, we talked about having the youth football and youth sports in, having some skin in the game, which I agree with, but they do have operational costs. In talking to Brandy and Andre and everyone else involved, it may be better just for us to build the building and have them pay us rent for the building. That way there's not a lot of upfront costs for them. Brandy and Andre have volunteered to find out what fair market value is for that. Obviously, it would just be for the maintenance and upkeep of the building, but they are gonna be the ones using the building. But the bid is $56,460 for the construction of that building. Danny's talked to a few people about that quote, and it seems to be spot on, even a little lower than what they thought it may be. So the revisit is, if you want to award that bid as it was presented from Cornerstone Builders in that amount, that's what's up for vote tonight.
I'll move that we take on that expenditure there and build it ourselves, and then figure out how we do it.
I'll second.
Yeah, we'll have, and just for discussion, we have a motion to say, and just for discussion, just again, we'll have Brandon and Andre work to an end with the league to figure out what that rental rate will be. But I think it's easy to come up with a fair market value of that, but it also does give them skin in the game. And of course, you know, they've got other storage, but understanding that they want storage closer to where they are when they do equipment days and when they're taking equipment up. And our facility's gotten pretty crowded pretty quickly, so I think this will be a good service for them. So we have a motion and a second to award the bid to Cornerstone Builders in the amount of $56,460. And Donnie, did you have a question?
I did.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Is there any initial discussion with the folks at the football? How
Yeah,
they're feeling on that?
Brandy's already reached out to them and talked to them. She's friends with the president, and her daughter cheers out there. So I think they're amicable to either way. But I think they're more amicable to us having a rental agreement or some sort of rental agreement, because they're not putting a lot of cash up front.
It would take them a long time rent-wise to.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, and you know, youth football is never gonna go away, and youth sports are not gonna go away, but if something were to happen, it's our building. And I think that's, and it was always gonna be our building anyway, but from the get-go,
Well, they're moving in.
You're right, we have a little more control in that manner and them just being a rental customer of ours.
Yeah.
I think it's setting a good plan for future.
I do too. I agree with that. Any other questions or comments?
Patrick made a comment about us building it, we're not building it.
No, it's.
Sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
us
paying.
taking,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Cornerstone
I
would
just
be
didn't
one
want
of the
that
big.
in there.
Correct. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
One more thing, we had discussed about some of the issues regarding entryway, like windows and that kind of stuff. Was that going to be
Those designs are,
fixed,
those all
I
in the
guess,
designs, yeah, it's all in
the
the
higher
designs.
windows
Higher
and
windows,
smaller
yeah.
ones?
Yep,
And,
yep, for security purposes, yes, sir,
Okay.
yes, sir.
This building will not have windows.
There's nothing but the man door then?
Just a
Keep 'em all
garage
out?
door and a front door.
Okay, there you go, no windows, I
No
thought they moved
windows.
them a pine on me.
locked in?
Pardon me?
Well, somebody gets locked in.
They won't throw away the key when it's you.
I could get on house spot, it'd be dark, so.
Yeah.
Plan B. Like it.
Anyway, any other questions, comments, otherwise? So the bid to Cornerstone Builders would be for construction of the building, using their crew, obviously, $56,460, I'll entertain a motion. We have a motion and a second to that effect. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. One other thing well, we'll go into new business, I'll hold this to comments. New business, we have consideration approval of an annual recycling program, the invoice from the Campbell County Solid Waste Authority in the amount of $16,174.08.
I'll make motion to approve that.
We have a motion and a second, to approve the invoice to Campbell County Solid Waste Authority for our recycling program. Is there further discussion?
As always, I'm gonna ask, what was our initial before and what's the change, what's the difference now?
Well, last year there was no increase, but this year there is an increase. It's an increase of around $2,500. And he does Mark Buchanan is with the county, the Waste Authority, and, he's trying his best to always get the best price. But these are our 4 dumpsters, and they still have the other dumpsters that they pay for.
Yeah.
So we're still getting more service than what we're truly
Yeah.
putting the bill for.
Comparatively speaking, and us being one of the only places who have a recycling program, we're in pretty good shape, honestly. And we're still able to offer it at no cost to the residents too.
Correct.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Are there any further questions, comments, or otherwise? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The next item is consideration or approval of resolution 2025-28 approving the payment of project invoice for Blade Street Storm Drain Rehabilitation Project. As you all, as we've explained, this is gonna be ongoing. The last payment is in the amount of, let me see here, $38,200, I believe, is this invoice, so.
No.
520, is it 520? 527? That's the one, that's the other one I'm looking at. $527,750.50 is that invoice amount.
I'll make a motion that we pay our bill.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are at the end of our agenda, and I just one thing I forgot to bring up when I was just talking about items. Donnie brought this little fact to me, and one of the things that we've talked about as a council, even before this current council was seated, was about leaving things better than we found it. Donnie actually brought this to me, a little fact that just says that, leave it better than you found it. I think it has merit. I think we should add it to I think we'll take the cardboard, let them take a look at it, but I appreciate the suggestion, because that has been a cornerstone of what we've all idealized over the past several years, and that goes for, us as an administration, the people that are using our buildings and grounds, and I think it's an encouragement for everyone, so I appreciate you bringing that suggestion, Councilman.
Appreciate that. It's not a new concept by any sense of the word, but, I guess it comes to the forefront when you start hearing that folks will take the time to call the mayor's office or call other people around and complain about you know, the they thing. They need to do this.
Right.
Or someone needs to do that, so it, you know, I think it just comes to the forefront, you know, we're all residents here, we're all neighbors, and, you know, this community is, so far above a lot of the other communities as far as cleanliness and that type of thing, and I think that, sometimes it just needs to, be reminded of that, and, you know, it's, nothing wrong with everyone taking a role.
Sure.
And, doing their part, you know, and that's what it's all about.
Well, I appreciate the suggestion. Also, I'm gonna start on here tonight, but I also wanted to say thanks to Mark for being here. Mark's had a tough week, but I appreciate seeing you here today. I hope this was the distraction you needed, and thanks for being here tonight, given all your issues, given the issues you had this week. So Donnie, with council comments, we're starting here tonight.
Oh, wow, okay, I'm getting the first dibs then. I only have a couple of things, and, both of them are about the haunted trail, and I wanted to announce that anyone that wants to help this year, you know, with all the changes and, you know, the longer hours and the better pay scale and all these, good things that we're gonna have, you know, there's a limited amount of, room to help, so you can just show up and say, hey, can I help tonight, and be part of the team. September 13th is gonna be the sign-up day for anyone that wants to help on the haunted trail. They have to come down to the skate park, and, you know, from 4 to 6 p.m. on the 13th, and come down and register. It's not a tax thing, but it's register to help. This is who we're gonna, take in, and, you know, we might be a little more selective on some, because there's not as many on our end that, we're gonna need, to be honest, because, there's gonna be, as one example, the new people from the Majestic are going to be taking basically the woods. So instead of 4 attractions in the woods, there's gonna be 10 attractions in the woods. And then, you know, we're going to expand, maybe 1 more on the bottom, because there's not that much extra room. But, we'll be doing a lot of the same things, and, but, you know, the help, we don't need quite as many, but we want the best that we can get, so. The Wizard was one, character that, the mayor had at one time that was requested, but. Anyway, September 13th is sign up 4 to 6, but, and the other thing was I wanted to make sure or see, about getting something in the September and October newsletters. And I know it's probably about that time where it's, start to organize, and who puts the newsletter together that we need?
We'll make sure to get it.
Brandy, okay.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to, she had also actually mentioned it about the advertisement, for the, it's not the haunted trail now it's gonna be, King Majestic's Haunted Labyrinth, is what the new name of it will be, so, and in fact, I don't wanna sound bold, but, the numbers that the Majestic had last year at their place was around 500 a night.
Gee.
Wow.
So,
That's a lot.
you know, intake, you're talking around $100,000.
Yeah.
We'll need a new sign for this, won't we?
Yeah,
So
right.
it's worth, it's gonna be worth the effort and, the advertisement and that kind of stuff, and even on a split, it's gonna be, times 10 on what the city is gonna be
Yeah.
back.
We appreciate your work on it, for sure. Thank you.
So, I'm excited about it, and I hope that number comes in true, and, we will not be letting off fireworks.
We'll make sure to tell the neighbors down there. We'll make sure to tell the neighbors, for
Yeah.
sure.
So a lot of changes, but, you know, it's gonna be an exciting time, and certainly gonna be a busy little town that time of the year too. So, tell everybody. It's all got.
Just don't expect me to call it Labyrinth, cause I'll be doing the trail.
Right.
Just like 16th Street, everybody sells 16th Street.
Speaking of advertisements, I did see a little bit coming out about Fall Fest and
Yeah.
Shenandoah and the headliners, so getting excited for Fall Fest. I'm sure we've got all of our ducks in a row, and we do have the same amusement company coming in that
Yep.
you'd like to have, is that
Yep.
correct? Okay, my
Yep.
kids always ask, is it the right company, because after
Yep.
that one, so.
All good.
So they're excited for that. Is it a stormwater project, or what's going on besides Steel Memorial on Union there? Is that stormwater, is that us, is that American Water?
Collapsed sanitary sewer project,
Is that us?
and also we've got a stormwater project there that's
Okay.
gonna have to be dealt with.
I-
But the sanitary sewer is about, oh, it's 18 feet deep, I think. That's why we had to rent that big machine. So that's gonna be quite a effort.
That's all I've got. Thank you.
I got a couple little funny things, I'll just tell you. Last week I was put into the hospital on Monday, and the doctor's walking around, and well, let me say, well, first I got sepsis, you know, so the doctor come around and said, Doc, tell me about this sepsis. He says, you know what a septic tank is? I said, yes, sir. You're a septic tank. But anyway, that was kind of funny. But anyway, I got out Thursday, you know, so I'm doing great. But one thing about this deer damage, that's one thing West Virginia's #1 in, is deer and deer damage, you know. But that's one thing I always tell people, you know, West Virginia's always 48th or 49th or 50th. But West Virginia's #1 in deer damage, which is good for my business, which I really enjoy. But I had a couple of funny things, so I just give a little bit of laughter here a little bit. But thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it.
You got hit by a car in Lewis.
Yeah. So, next one I need to make a deer, you know, something, whatever. But yes, thank you.
Glad you're here, glad you're doing well.
Me too, thank you.
Just seeing lots of work from Danny and his boys all over town, and it's, very organized and well-marked and great progress, and just, you know, doesn't go unnoticed that we're very professional when we're out there. That's all I got.
Well, Patrick brought up one of the things I was gonna ask about Union Avenue. Is there any way next time if we can get a list of the repairs that are gonna be done on the streets here in town, just an updated list?
You mean,
What's next?
Right's next, yeah, because I saw,
well,
that just
sewer-
popped up,
Yeah,
didn't it?
yeah, that was an emergency repair.
Yeah, whatever we have going on, Huntington Avenue had a paving company over there today that I got a call about. And come to find out, it was on private property, it wasn't even our street, so, and I didn't find that out until shortly later, and, but just things like that, so we can, in case we get calls, council, find out what's going on
The
there.
big projects we do, we advertise, and like paving
Right.
projects. They were supposed to happen last week of August, but now it's the first week of September,
Gotcha, okay,
okay?
thank
We'll,
you.
we'll do ping notices, just so you know, when the time comes and they're in town.
Right.
We'll do ping notices on the app as
yes,
well, and
okay.
put stuff out on social media about road closures and whatnot too.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming tonight, appreciate it.
I like the app notices. What's
The other
happening?
day.
I don't think I have anything other than thank you all for being here, and Mark, I'm glad you're here with us, and feeling okay.
I will say one other thing that I forgot to mention, Brandy had said, and we tried to put it on all of our socials, but if you get a chance, now that our event poster's out, just give it a share or send it out so folks you know, since Fall Fest is on, it's like Patrick was saying, but we'll keep those notices coming as we get closer to the dates, but again, parade's on the 18th, just for everybody, sake of everybody knowing, 6 o'clock start time, so be at our spot around 5:45 if you can.
And what is the theme again?
Family game night.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So if you have any good ideas.
That's right.
I'll just show up.
Same thing.
Right,
You all could dress up as the Clue characters.
we could. Now I want to say what I was thinking, anyway, we'll adjourn the meeting, thanks everybody for coming. I was thinking I could be under,